Morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you. Hi, Lydia.
Hello. Hello. I finally made it.
Oh, good. Yes.
I couldn't find the right time, so
Yeah. So we also have Eloise here, but not here. Yeah.
we have to wait.
Yeah, we just wait for a couple of minutes anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I got caught with my pants down, so to speak. I'm at the shop and I got a reminder about this meeting. I'd forgotten what day of the week it was.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started it on my phone, so we'll wait, and when my wife finishes shopping, I'll go home and convert it over to the computer. But anyway, we're here. You can hear me, even if I look a bit funny there. Yeah.
Okay.
There's David. And
Hello.
and Lennart.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. I was just explaining to Lydia, I got caught with my pants down. I was at the shop when I got a reminder about the meeting. I'd forgotten what day of the week it was. So I'm in my car doing it on my phone at the moment, and I don't know how to tell it to start recording, but I will get a recording anyway. We'll sort that out.
Do you want somebody else to if you want, I can record it, but then you have to make me like host.
Why am I not hearing you?
Vince, it actually says that you are recording this, or this is being recorded.
Yes, that's the Fathom thing. Yeah, and that'll do. I can still use that recording. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, great. All right. Oh well, we have a bigger than normal turn up for Wednesday. That's good. You home again, Lennart? Are you still traveling?
Yeah, I'm home again. You can see it's my home. Yeah.
Right.
I'm still a bit jet lagged. Yeah. My sleeping rhythm didn't return to normal yet.
Oh, okay. And you've only just got there, eh?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. So it's taken you that long to recover. Yeah.
It seems
Okay.
like it. Yeah.
Right. Well, Lydia, seeing as how you're the new one here, tell us where you're up to with this seeking stuff.
First of all, I want to tell you that I'm from Belgium, so my native language is not English, so sometimes I have to search for words, and I understand everything, but it's sometimes not so easy to find the right words to
Yeah. So what is
speak.
your native language?
Dutch,
Dutch. Okay. Yeah.
Dutch, yeah, yeah. Uh,
Okay. We all look.
so,
We all have
ah,
trouble with language here. We all have
okay.
trouble with language. Even if you're a native English speaker, you still can't find the right words sometimes.
Ah, okay. Then it's okay.
Mm.
So where am I at? I did LU like 7, 8 years ago, I think. And then I thought I saw through the eye. I was so disappointed because I thought, is that it? Really? Because nothing changed in me. My emotions were still there. Everything was still the same. So I started searching for things to work with that. First went to Byron Katie, did that for a year, and then I went to Scott Killaby. I've been there for like 6 years, I think. But in
Okay.
between, I also went to Christiane to do
Yep.
fetters 4 and 5.
Hmm.
But I really didn't understand then where she was talking about, because Scott is always talking about emotions, going through emotions.
Yep.
But with Christiane, it was like the first input, the first sensory experience.
Mm.
And because I came from non-duality also, and I didn't understand really where she was talking about. I went into her group and I really was like, we have to go through emotions, and like, so I stopped that. I went back every time. I'm following her on Facebook, and so by doing this with Scott, I understand now. It's like the primary sensation that comes in when something happens, situation.
Mm.
Um,
Okay. So as I understand it, I haven't had personal experience with Scott Killaby, but he does pretty much shadow work, what you would call shadow work, eh? He works on,
yes.
yeah, whereas Christiana's very much into the fetters, and that's, she says, get the shadow work out of the road, and then we can work on the fetters.
Yeah, because when I understand what was happening, I was thinking about, okay, there was a first primary sensation coming into the body, then there was a reaction, like there was a thought and an emotion. So Scott is working with thought and emotion, but that's already the reaction. So I
Mm.
thought I had to go deeper and with working with the first sensation, the first input into the body. So I thought that was a deeper layer than going, because I keep on doing it. I keep on doing it, keep on doing it. It's for 6
Yeah.
years already, and it's working. I went through a lot. I can stay with sensation, but it's still the same going on. I want to put my business, if you like things like this on the world, and I'm not doing it. I'm just not
Yeah.
doing it because I'm fearful. And fear is coming and coming and coming, and I'm
Mm.
still not doing it. I'm like procrastinating and things like that. So
Okay. Yeah.
now I
Well.
went back, like listening to Pernille with her first fetter. I went back
Yeah. Yeah.
and seeing, for me, I'm seeing that there is no I.
Hmm.
And now, since I'm doing this for a few weeks again, like I'm looking for what's happening when I'm reactive. It's, okay. Who is that? What is that? It's a thought, things like that. I'm busy working with that a lot. So
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well,
When there is sensation, I feel the sensation, and
yeah. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? See, here we don't adhere to any of those one things, but we use a bit of all of them. So essentially, it seems to me like what's happened for you is that you've done all of the stuff that they've given you, but it's never got below the neck. It's all in the head. So
for me,
yeah.
I'm going into the body, you know, I can
Oh
go
yeah,
inside, going into the body. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yes,
and feel it though. Yeah, feel it, but you're not
yes.
experiencing what you're being told about. You're not experiencing that, it seems. Okay, now
For
yeah,
me, yeah,
I can see a
you think.
puzzle. That's all right. Yeah.
Mm,
All right.
I'm trying as much as I can go inside, go into the body,
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
but it,
yes, yes,
but it's not solving anything. It's coming and
yes.
coming again. And so I always think about something has to happen and then everything's gone. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Oh
and
well, yeah, yeah. Well, that you do you already recognise that expectation is not very realistic?
yes.
Yeah, you've spoken to people.
Yeah, I
It's not.
think so. Now it's more like, is it that? Well, is it still, is it a thought? Like wishing that everything would be gone, or is it a normal thing that it comes back? So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, so that's something now. So there's a few people here that can tell you from experience what it's like for them. Um, and I guess I'm one of them. And what I can say is, no, it's never gone and completely gone. You know, it's not that things come back, but new stuff will come up. So
yeah,
as you clear stuff away, it allows other stuff to come up,
come
and that
up.
will keep happening until it finishes. Which I don't know that it ever really does finish, but it certainly gets further and further apart and
Yeah.
changes. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Okay.
was somebody in the Netherlands. He wrote a book about it, and he claims to be in being all the time. Something can come up, like
Yeah.
something can
But
come up, and it's like seen, and then it's gone, you know. But he's there all the time, and so then I'm
yeah.
wondering: is it possible to be in being
Well,
all the time?
let me tell you. You know, I've only been what I would call awake, if I have to describe it. I've only been awake for about 12 years now,
Okay.
and I've been guiding other people for 12 years, and I have never experienced what he claims to experience. Now, I'm not saying he's a liar. I don't know. It simply means maybe I haven't reached that point yet. Maybe I never will. I don't know. But I would say he's exceptional. I've worked with a lot of people, and talk to David, talk to Eloise here. They both have experience with this, and they'll tell you stuff still comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my experience also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps
But
coming up, keeps
here's the difference. When stuff comes up for us, we recognize what's happening. We probably find it fairly humorous that it's arrived, that it's turned up, and we don't add to it. It goes away fairly quickly. Whereas for you, I rather imagine that what you're saying is, this means that I'm not there yet. And that
Mhm.
means what that is like the second dharma in Buddhism. That's where the suffering comes from. Right? It's the addition to what's really going on that you're responding to. Right? So you're
Yeah.
not responding to the prime thing of it coming up, whatever it's coming up. And I'd have to say it's a trap to get involved in what comes up. Seeing something coming up from the outside, so to speak, enables you to not get carried away by it. Whereas if you get involved in the content of what comes up, you're on an endless loop. You're down a bottomless rabbit hole, chasing thoughts probably about what to do about it. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'm doing. Yes. That's why I came here to more see that's what's happening, what I'm doing. Like, yeah, what you're saying. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to catch it now more than.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I will say is stop trying. Right.
Okay.
So as soon as you try to catch it, what you do is you chase it, right?
Okay.
Or you resist it. You know, whereas what I'm saying is stay relaxed and just notice it. Right. Now, is it possible that you can notice it without having an opinion about it? Just notice it. No judgment. So as soon as you have an opinion about it, you're off down that rabbit hole again.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So
Okay.
yeah. So one of the things that will happen here is that you'll get support. You can ask us things, anything, and you'll get an honest, open, spontaneous reply about their own experience. Right. So we don't want to philosophize about things, although I do get into that a bit sometimes, but we don't want to philosophize. We want to really relate from our experience all the time.
Okay. Yeah. What I see what's happening with me is like when I think about putting my business on in the world, it's like no, I can't. It's too much. I cannot do that. No.
Yeah. And so this is a good example. So rather than get into why you can't do that, right? We want to simply notice that you can't do that, right? And by doing that, can you see that you've stepped outside of? You're not involved in it anymore.
Yeah, then you are more the observer.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, absolutely. You're much more the observer. And being the observer widens your perspective and gives you the possibility to see more of what's going on. Whereas the moment you start saying, why, you narrow your focus right down and you just get lost in it. Yeah.
Yeah, then I get fearful and not doing anything, going away here and
Yep.
doing everything except that.
Yep. Now, if I heard you right when you said earlier what you'd been through, it sounded like you got into a bit of a black hole, an existential hole, maybe, that you felt a bit depressed after first seeing through the eye. Would that be accurate? Did I hear you right?
I wouldn't describe. That's a difficult one because I went through a period when I look back at it, it was like I felt not here depressed, but here inside of my body. It felt like I couldn't do anything. It was like what to do, what. It was like everything felt. When I went through menopause, it was starting like I was 52, and it was like, and I don't know anything anymore. It was totally what to do, where to go. And then it felt like not here, but here. It felt depressed. Yeah. I cannot see if it's related to the, I don't know anymore. It's a long time ago. So
Yeah, sure. Yep. Okay. So that to me, it would indicate that your seeing through the eye was incomplete. That it was there was. I can't say that there was something missing, but there was. It was only a partial seeing through for you
Yeah,
to have that.
possible.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, you would feel liberated. You would feel freedom, and so
Ah,
because you didn't, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that just also gives us something to work on. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought something was wrong. I every time when I looked at it, I said, no, there is no I. I know that, but like they speak about there is a shift. I didn't
Yeah.
experience that.
Yeah. You didn't have that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I
Well,
was so disappointed then. Like, is that
yeah.
it? Really? I felt disappointment. Everybody was talking about like, oh, it's like freedom, and oh, it's like something
Yeah.
fell
Yeah.
away. And with me, it was like, huh?
Yeah. 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 Well, of course, a lot of that's got to do with the expectations. You read that book from that bloke who said he's in permanent bliss, so to speak, and you have expectations that are quite unrealistic, and
Okay.
that can lead to disappointment, can't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because everything was the same going on in my body. Nothing changed. So,
Yeah. All right. Um, Look, I'm expecting my wife to come out of the shops any second now, and so I'll be driving home. So when I do that, I'll let the other people talk to you, and you talk to them, and so on. Um, now David's a great guy to talk to. He sees things a bit differently to me, but he's there. He knows what he's talking about. So he balances me beautifully, as does Eloise. Yeah, great. So. You guys talk amongst yourselves in a moment. I can. Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking too much now. What do you reckon, David? What do you reckon about Lydia?
Hello, Lydia. First, I want to say thank you for sharing, because you just come here and are very open and share openly what's going on for you and the difficulties. So really, thank you for that, for your trust.
I'm used to doing that. I'm open, yes.
But that's a very good sign, because that's a sign that there is less fear, and when there's less fear of talking about what you live in an honest way, it's also a sign that the grip on the self is very loosened in a way. But what I can hear is like you still hold imagination about what is being, because you are alive right now, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So you are being right now.
Yeah. When I
But
put my attention on sensation, like hearing, smelling, tasting, things like that, I mostly I can do it with sounds, when the sound comes, it's like I cannot do anything about it. It's just sound happening, and I can do that. I can go to, but sometimes my focus is gone, and then
yeah,
I'm
but
in thought again, like.
exactly, this is what the impression is like you believe that you focus, that being, if you are in being, you focus, attention will be very straightforward and focus very straight on one perception somehow. But the nature of attention is to move around. There is no fixed attention. The
What do
nature
you
of,
mean?
like, right now you are listening to me, right? At the same time you are watching the screen. It's not good, so you are moving a little bit the computer, and after you think about yesterday, and after, yeah, he's talking, and after you think, I'm this is painful, I move a little bit, and now, so your attention, it's always moving around.
Mhm.
You can you can train your attention to be fixed on something, but attention always move around in the spectrum of your experience. You feel your butt after, yes, I'm listening, and after you focus on seeing, and after you focus on sound, and after, it's shifting constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what is interesting is all of this activity is happening in your experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see that experience itself, it's always present. It's like always on your face, right? You want to change things, but when you stop thinking, there is sensation coming up, right? And when there's no sensation, there is thoughts, and with no thought, there is sound, and with no sound, there is something else. And experience is always, it's always there. It's always like an ever-ending continuum, and you are floating on it. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So how can you tell that your experience is better or worse than someone else?
I cannot. I
You
cannot.
cannot. You cannot.
Not.
So when you read a book that someone is all the time in being, how can you compare? What does that even mean?
Mm.
You have no idea what other people are experiencing.
No, no, no. I can only feel myself, my experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is really key, because you can go in different tradition, try different paths, and that's great. I mean, but when you understand that everything is in you, and everything that come to you, you understanding through your own experience. So you
Mm-hmm.
have no idea what the other people are talking about.
No, not really. No, no.
Yeah. So, but
No.
but some things come to you and it makes sense. You can't really explain why, but it makes sense, really, right? So when you start to see this, you can really start to become autonomous, in the sense that understand that you your experience is the reference for everything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can only experience myself, my sensory things, and then that's the only thing I can ever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So if if a kid if a kid of 6 years or 10 years old come to you and say, I know how to do mathematics, yes, 1 plus 1, you will understand something. If someone come and have the look of Einstein and say, I can do mathematics, you have a different thought about what he can understood. But this is irrelevant to you, because what you know about mathematics is what you know, and you cannot step out of your own knowing. Your experience is what it is. So really, with this knowing, you can take information from other people, but be very clear that your experience is the authority for you. It's the only
Yeah,
authority that there is.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
See
Yeah,
that
that's a
something is
good one.
happening. So just feel this for a while. We can just feel that.
So that makes it clear that I can only speak from myself and not from somebody else, because it's my experience only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I tell you I am happy right now, okay? Now, when you hear happiness, you will hear it, but instantly, almost instantly, you will go into your own experience and feel this happiness. What this word means for you in yourself.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah,
So by doing this, you can really free yourself from gurus and masters and imagination.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seeing this is freedom in a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Can only be my experience. There is nobody else.
No, no.
Yeah, great. That's, yeah. That's a great one. Just me experiencing it, really.
Yeah, but you see, the just it's it's kind of negating the how amazing is the me, how amazing the experience is. It's just you, yes,
Say that
but
again. Say that again.
you said, yeah, it is just me. I
Yeah.
said, yes, it is just you, but is you, it's quite amazing in definition, depth, quality, intensity, wideness, and all of the adjective you want, all the adjective that concept, that words can point, it is in you. So it's just you, but it's quite a ride. It's
Mm.
quite intense, right?
Yeah. Can I suggest that you swap the word just you, for all you? It's
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
you.
that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the things that you might consider there is, do you put a value on you? Do you value you less than some guru or something else?
Yeah. I learned from my legs hurt and my back hurt. That's why I'm moving.
You can move,
Um,
yeah.
I learned from my parents, like it was like, uh, sit quiet. A child is nothing. It has to listen. It has to be modest. It has to be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not having emotions.
yeah, yeah,
Leave me alone. Things like that. So I have to be a good
yeah,
girl all the time. When I'm not,
yeah,
I'm like think I'm getting punished and I'm less than somebody else. Yeah.
yeah. My father used to say, children should be should be seen and not heard.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and that
Exactly.
whole generation believed that children were not people.
Yes.
Mm.
Afterward, when I studied, we read a thing about black pedagogy. How do you say that? I don't know the word for it. I studied for educating people, like people with a mental disease, you know. And when I studied, we had like it's called the black. I don't know the word. I don't know. It's
Say it
how
in.
we are raised is in a manner that after the war people were treating children like that.
Mm,
It's like a child is nothing. It has to listen. It doesn't know anything. So you have to
yeah.
listen to me and do what I'm saying. You have to be
Yep.
obedient and things like that. Yeah.
Children have no value. Yes. I would have thought Scott
Totally not.
Killaby could
No.
have got you out of that one. Did not
Uh,
Scott work on that stuff?
yes, 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 yeah. But it's still there.
Yeah, of course. We're well conditioned, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So here's one of the things you talked about, stuff coming up. It can be that stuff comes up, but it's not coming up because you believe it anymore. It's coming up simply because it hasn't been looked at. And so it's still there. It's just almost, habit's not the right word, but it's like that. It's a remnant. So it comes up. You know, if you look for a self, there's none there, don't you?
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm,
so there's no question. So when something comes up, it's not necessarily that you are identifying with a self just because something has come up. It may be that it's coming up simply because it hasn't been resolved. And in order to resolve it,
in my experience, I looked at it so many times, again and again and again. So, and sometimes like, oh wow, oh I didn't see that, you know, like okay, then but it's still come up and coming up, and like never ending.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Still that stuff from my parents, you know, like the feeling that I have to be punished doing something wrong. Oh, and when somebody is saying something, oh, what did I do wrong? You know, things like that.
yeah, yeah. You could even say you have to be punished simply because you exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And I should be shameful for what I'm doing because then I should listen, you know?
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it keeps me keeps it keeps me small. It's
yeah. But what David, how you responded to what David said, that was significant. You know, I would call that a shift. You had a oh wow
yeah,
experience. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
And so you should keep that one alive. Don't allow it to fade off so quickly. Keep saying that to yourself. Right. My experience is everything.
Yeah. It's everything. Yeah, exactly. I cannot say like this I want and that I don't want. It's
Mm,
everything.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I want to experience this.
So anything you can say about your experience is not your experience. It's just an overlay. Yeah. Pernilla would say it's a post-it note put on reality.
Yeah, I heard her saying about post-its. It's like
Yeah.
everything around
Yeah.
is yeah.
So your experience is everything, but the moment you start thinking about it, it's not your experience anymore. The
Yeah.
moment you start talking about it, it's not your experience anymore. You
Then
can't
I'm going
describe it.
away from my experience.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay. Here's my wife. I'm going to go quiet for a moment. You guys keep going without me, and when I get home, I'll jump on the computer and I'll be back with you. Okay. 10, 15 minutes will be all. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I have to stay more with my primary sensation without going away in thought. And
Yeah, I think to me, where you are right now, because you did a lot of shadow work, I guess you have a lot of techniques and ways that you know how to deal with emotion, sensation, and thought. So I think now you can change the way you the way you approach your experience completely. Because people who do therapy or shadow work for a long time, at some point they start to develop this belief that there is some darkness somewhere that I'm not experienced, and it has to come up so I can heal it, so my experience can get better. This kind of
yeah,
belief that subconscious of there is some sensation, trauma that I don't feel but is there and I have to get over. Can you understand this kind of belief?
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly what's happening. I always think like there has to be something I cannot reach it, and when
exactly.
I reach
So
it,
now
then it
now I think get rid of that simply because it's not true. And again, I'm saying this, but it's your experience. Check what is not in your experience is imagination. So if there is no bad sensation, if there is no bad emotion, enjoy life. Don't worry, life we will put you in a situation where you will suffer and feel bad emotion. You don't have to search for it. Life is already intense enough. So now that you have all of this technique and all of this baggage with this emotion work, what is not in your direct experience doesn't exist for you, and that's it. And if you are confronted with a challenge, well then okay, you would stop and you do whatever you know how to do it. And when it's done, when you do the work and something is left, and you feel there is not everything is not done, but I cannot feel anything, okay, it doesn't matter, it will come up. A person will come on the streets, I will lose something, I will hurt myself, I will feel this. So you don't have to worry about uh, about diving into darkness and to heal.
Yeah.
You have done this, it is great, but now I think you can just step over and step into the present moment. To this, the experience is instantaneous. It's already there. So what is not here, it's a thought, it's an imagination. You cannot feel something that is not there.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, exactly. I'm
Make
always
the leap, have faith, make the
diving
leap.
into it because God says like everything is like suppressed, so you have to keep on pulling it up and working with it. So yes, it's like
yeah, but in a way it was useful to you, and there is some truth about that. I'm not saying that is, but it's just there is level for everything, right? Maybe if you are here and if you are listening to me, maybe it's time you can really do the leap, have faith, try it. Really, what is not in my experience, it's an imagination, and check if I'm right. Check, really, every day you check. There is darkness, you don't feel it, you don't see it. Why worry about it? If there is, it will come up. So it's fine. You don't have to dig.
Oh great. Thank you.
You see how
I can live with that.
yeah, exactly. You can live in what's happening now. You can feel that, and you can live that. You cannot live with 20 years of suffering and probably 60 years more. It's too much. But right now you can. What's happening? What is the sensation now? What is the thought now? What is exactly here? It's often it's fine. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And that's why people tell you to go to sensation, because sensation you cannot, it's always in the present.
Yeah,
So
I can
what I'm
only
telling
feel what I'm feeling right now.
exactly. So if you feel something, don't let thoughts put it in a timeline and in some hiding space that doesn't exist.
Great. Wow. I'm only feeling now. It's like
Exactly. Stay with this.
that gives like relief, like oh, it's just sensation right now here.
You can stay in the group, you can talk, but the space where you are right now, it's always available to you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I only have to feel it.
Yeah. And it's not even an action, it's just you cannot step forward a sensation. Sensation is already there, right? So it's yeah, it's more easy and simpler than that. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah. No, I cannot feel what I'm going to feel in 5 minutes, or cannot feel what was 5 minutes ago. I can only feel now. Mm. And now is okay.
Now
Just
it's okay.
sensation.
Yeah. And if there is unpleasant sensation and there is a resistance, the resistance is a sensation also. So it's also fine. Don't let the sensation of resistance pull you in the mind and again, make a whole story. No, okay. Pain by nature, you resist pain. I mean, resistance and pain, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just two words. There is no
Yeah.
pain and no resistance. It's the same. So
Yeah.
just feel it as much as you can, and when it's gone, it's gone, and it stay. It's fine.
Yeah, recently, because I have back pain and pain in my legs, I go into the sensation of the pain. And sometimes it loosens and it's gone. And sometimes it's like too painful to stay with it.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Mm.
There is no conclusion. There's no resolution. There's only what is here.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. And thought is getting me out of feeling the sensations.
Okay, maybe you can even go deeper. Thoughts, thought don't pull you out of anything. Thought is just another characteristic of experience, like hearing. When you hear something, it you can say it pulled me out of sensation, but it's not really. It's just it had another texture. Thinking is the same. Thinking doesn't pull you out of the present moment and doesn't pull you out of your experience. So
It's
when
just another sensation then.
yeah, you can think that way if it's helpful. You can, yeah. Thought
I
is
can
not an
sometimes
enemy.
feel it's like buzzing here, like
Yeah,
and so then a thought is not formed yet, but it's like busy here. like,
yeah, yeah. But here, you see, it's not busy out there or yesterday. It's busy here, and just that as pain can be, if you feel what is sensation now, even if it's intense, if you feel really now, you can handle it. With thinking the same. Thinking can be very intense, but if you really focus on this instant, it's fine. It's just one thought. It's just activity of thinking. It's fine. Thinking, it's not an enemy. It's not a problem.
no, but I think I have more problem with that. because
You don't have problems.
because
That's why it's
it gets
difficult.
me so when I'm in thought, it gets me so.
Yeah. It requires more sensitivity in a way, but that's fine. Just stay with sensation. That's fine.
And I noticed that I'm like going into a place all day, like a sort of daydream situation, a dissociation, or
Yeah.
and then I'm in there, and people say to me like, "Oh, are you dreaming again?" Like I'm not there. I don't hear anything. I am so filled with that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I notice I'm doing that a lot during the day. Yeah.
You notice it, so it's fine.
Mm.
Don't make a big story about those events. If you are there and you want to focus somewhere else, well, if you can focus on sensation. But what I want, what I'm trying to really transmit here to you is like your experience. It's a whole, and you cannot step out of it.
No.
You
Yeah.
can think all you want, you will never step out of your sensation. You can hear, you can put sound as high as you want until pain, you will never step out of it. You can talk, you
Yes.
can listen. So you experience it's a whole and there is no way out, there is no escape. You experience right here.
Yeah.
And if you
That's true.
and maybe if you entertain this belief or this way of thinking, maybe you can relax with thinking. And maybe your body will can relax and maybe you will feel more this okayness. Okay, I am daydreaming, so what? So what?
Mm.
It is wrong. Says who? Who
That's
who is
who.
the judge
Yeah. All the
who is the
others.
judge in but there is no others. You say it. There is only your
Yeah.
experience. So
Yes.
where is the judge?
Mm.
I'm daydreaming, so what? What's wrong with daydreaming? If I need to daydreaming, what's wrong?
Mm.
You can feel right now this kind of wave of okayness that, oh yes, right, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Of course I'm distracted, of course I have bad pattern, of course I have addiction. So what? Okay. If I don't entertain that there is human beings without those, it's fine. So what? Yeah. You are the judge, the victim, and the policeman.
Mm. Yeah, when you are saying this and in this moment, okay, but when I'm in interaction with somebody else, it seems like I lose myself in it, like not staying with my own sensation, but more focused on that other person, although knowing that it's only my sensation, but in that moment, it's like I'm going away from myself or something, losing myself, something like that.
Losing yourself? Can you?
Yeah, I cannot
What
lose
does that
myself,
mean?
but like in yeah,
I don't know, but what do you mean by losing yourself?
but What do I mean by
I mean, right now you are talking to me, right? To us, right? Did you lose yourself?
no?
So you are able to experience and relate to people and don't feel and you are not losing yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That it's like here are people are different. Like on the outside, it's like people are more. Some people are more aggressive, and when they are aggressive, it's like I am really scared of aggression with when people are getting angry at me or yeah.
So I want to jump back in here. and look, I know what you mean by losing yourself when you're talking with other people. Do you accept? Can you recognize the necessity of being able to pretend there's a self there to buy groceries?
Say that again. Say that again. Is
In,
there a
in
self?
order for you to do normal daily mundane things that involve other people, you go to the shops to buy grocery, right?
Yeah.
You have to say, I am here. You have to say, I want this. You have to say, here is my money,
Mhm.
etc. Right? So you're pretending that there's a real self that's doing that. But the reality is that those things are just happening. But you have to
Mhm.
behave as if there is a self there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? So you're never going to lose that ability because you learned it all your life. You've been learning how to do that. That's an ability that you will still have. But it doesn't mean that you're actually identifying with a self. So if I pull you up halfway through paying the cashier the money and say, is there a self paying the money? You would say, no, there's not a self. If you want to be more accurate, you would say paying money is just happening. That would be an accurate description of it, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. So why do
Yeah.
you now look back at that and say, I was lost? Of course, you're going to be completely involved in doing that process. So what you're saying you're missing is an awareness of that from an objective viewpoint.
Yeah. I think when I get frightened, scared.
Ah, that's a different one. When you get frightened and scared, you may well start identifying again, because the self, the illusion of a self is body armor. It's a defensive mechanism.
Mm.
So when you get scared, you may well start identifying again until you learn about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you're not scared, if you're just doing a normal daily interaction with somebody, putting petrol in your car or whatever it is you do, you're not scared. You're just doing it.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
See, what you're doing is you're putting meaning on stuff. You're making something out of nothing. You're putting meaning on it, saying that means that I'm not awake.
Mm.
And it's a lie. It's not true.
So what I'm sensing now, it's like, with what you are saying, it's more like, okay, stay then with the sensation. What are you feeling then when I'm scared or frightened or
Ah,
whatever?
yes. That's a technique for examining what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now doing that in real time can be a little bit tricky in the beginning. After a while, it gets pretty easy to do. But in the beginning, you can go, I'm too busy to do that. There's too much
Yeah,
going on for
exactly.
me
Then
to, yeah,
it's too much in the
yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we say, and it's something that came out of the Feta work a little bit. What you can say is, what you can do is you can take that back to the laboratory, take it to the lab, and work on it. So when you get home and you're by yourself and you're comfortable, you can then recreate that circumstance in your mind
Mm-hmm.
until you feel a bit of emotion, just some emotion. And then when you feel that emotion, you can start looking at it and working on it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and that's when
Yeah.
Christiana stuff will come in, and you can look for the gap between the sensation and the stories about the sensation. Yeah,
Yeah, that gap thing, I don't uh
yeah,
what's
okay,
what's meant with the gap? What I can see, like, for instance, there is a sensation
yeah,
and there is no thought yet. So there is a space
yeah.
in between. Is that what you mean with gap?
That would be what the Feta work would refer to as the gap. Yes, the space.
Yeah.
So you're not totally involved in the sensation, but neither are you in any stories about the sensation. You're in between those two. And
Yes.
that's something that they work on there. I work on that a little differently. But anyway, we'll come to that. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Yeah,
Okay. It's
yeah.
good. Can you also say, like, you go with your attention around your body and then there is like a sort of nothingness, like space, like spaciousness, awareness, whatever you call it? That's also the
No,
gap?
no,
No,
no. It's a
it's
different
only
thing.
in the
Yeah.
body that you are speaking of.
Yes, yeah. Well, anything outside the body like that, that's magical thinking, isn't it?
Ah,
You're not awareness. I don't buy that one. You're not no such thing as awareness.
yeah, that's the strange thing, because in non-duality they talk about
Yeah, of course they
awareness
do.
and
Yeah,
things like that, and then Christiane said, but no, that's like, what is she saying? I'm so used
yes.
to use that.
Well, see, non-duality stuff it can be not always, but it can be a bit religious, so it requires faith for you to believe and have an experience. I don't buy that stuff. Anything outside of your current experiencing is just an idea.
So you're more into the body and feeling what's there.
Uh, in the beginning stuff, yes. So so the first thing we have to do is untangle you from all this um, the entanglement with thinking.
Yeah.
Once we untangle that, and we use the body to do that, once we untangle that, then we can move on to the next step. But at this stage, that's what we're focusing on. We have to untangle that there's no right word, incorrect thinking. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And I can do that by always asking myself, so what am I feeling now? What's the
Absolutely. Yes.
sensation now?
Yeah. Beautiful. Going into
Okay.
what the sensation is the quickest way out of your head.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. I want to hear what Eloise has to tell you. She's been thinking things as you're talking.
Well, I just appreciate your sharing, Lydia. Like, you know, you're very open and coming from the heart. So I think that's really helpful because there's a certain trust. And I think over time, my sense of trust has deepened and is deepening. So particularly when I'm in social situations, there's less sense of anxiety and fear of being judged. So there's less defendedness, you know, sort of like losing myself, as you say. So, you know, so there's a greater sense of flow, and that whatever's happening here in that social situation is okay. So, you know, but I find that's possibly being, you know, in a social situation, it can be one of the most triggering things for me. So I get it when you sort of say, when you said you lose yourself, because it's like I pull in and kind of contract to try to protect
Yeah.
what's going on.
Or I collapse and I don't know anymore what to say because I'm like in freeze or something.
Yeah. So, you know, I just trust and then just consciously relaxing when I notice that. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a work in progress.
Okay. Yeah. Work in progress.
What would you tell?
In normal interactions, it's okay, and I'm clear, and it's okay. But when somebody gets aggressive, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you tell her, Lennart?
Well, from my recent experience, I could say that, yeah, sometimes it happens to me that, I don't know, I'm totally bored or in a state that I would not really associate with being awake. I mean, if you have those expectations or ideas about how it should be, you know. And recently, I just don't make a story out of it. I allow myself to be bored or to watch videos on YouTube or something like that. And then also, yeah, my recent experience was that it was really like a contrast because I was traveling in Indonesia and I went to a beach which was quite far off, so it was quite a long, tiring travel. And when I reached there, it was full of garbage, full of people. It was noisy, and I had traveled like 6 hours or something, and I was quite tired. And then my first reaction was like, oh no, I don't want to be here. And then I noticed, okay, you had some expectation, you know? And then also I noticed, okay, I didn't eat anything for like, I don't know, 6 hours. Maybe there's also some need to be in a calm place or something like that. And then, yeah, I had to parent myself and tell myself, yeah, okay, maybe calmness is not what you're going to get, but you can go to have something to eat first. And then somehow I walked around the beach and then I thought like, yeah, but the sea is still the sea, you know, it's still great to be at the sea, even if there is a lot of garbage in the sand, you know. And then actually at around 4 o'clock, all the people went away because it was just like a family excursion place, but nobody really stay overnight. And then I also found a part of the beach which was where there was nobody, and I sat down and I had like a very beautiful experience, because usually I also tend to overthink, and I would say that's because of wanting to be in control and being afraid of situations. And I could not say that I didn't really think anything anymore, but I mean, for me, it was kind of only looking at the sea and the sky and the sunset and the colors. And at some point, I really thought, like, did I take LSD or something? Because it was there was, I could see structures in the sky and everything. And then at some point, I remembered, there was a story about this person called Lennart, and it was very weird. It was so obvious that it was not real, you know. And then, yeah, afterwards, then I noticed, oh, that was like 3.5 hours that I didn't really have conceptual thinking. Maybe sometimes I just thought like, wow, this is so beautiful, or something like that, or maybe a positive judgment. And then afterwards, when I started to think, I thought like, wow, this is freedom, and this is so nice, because I was free of fear or trying to be in control. But then the next day, for example, I felt super bored. I just went to a hotel, and I didn't really feel like going out. I didn't feel like um, doing sightseeing. I didn't, yeah, I just stayed in the hotel room, but I didn't judge myself for this. I just thought like, yeah, maybe that was my need now, to be in a calm place. I can't always like take in all those things from this different culture, and maybe, yeah. And it was like really lying on the bed and watching videos and being a bit bored and nothing special happening. But usually before, I would really judge myself for this, and I thought I would think like, yeah, but you could at least read something intelligent or something like that, you know. So yeah, I would say it's really difficult not to have expectations. And yeah, not all, yeah, I really think that the problem is that we always have ideas about feeling okay all the time, you know. And then I was also wondering sometimes, um okay, anyway, we don't use this word illumination, or how, enlightenment. But then I was wondering sometimes, why would anyone want to be enlightened? You know, I mean, I think it's the most egocentric wish that there could ever be. You know, I mean, if it is the idea to be on a pink cloud and never experience anything which would not be comfortable, you know. So I
Above
think,
everybody else.
yeah. And I think it's really, yeah, I'm starting to understand that it's really about more, I mean, for me at least, about welcoming everything. And then at this beach, this was also a bit my insight. It was like, I understood that before I had not permitted myself to live somehow, because I was always in control. I didn't meet people, maybe because I had I was frightened to be hurt by contacts that would be too close to me, you know. So somehow it was a bit weird because I thought at this beach, it's a bit difficult to explain, but I felt like, wow, everything is an expression of being alive, you know, and even children throwing garbage on in the beach also an expression of being alive somehow. Even I might not like it, you know. So, yeah, I don't know if that's clear, but it's like, yeah, there are things that I don't like, for example, garbage on the beach, but it's what is there.
there in that
Why
moment.
shouldn't I enjoy the beach? And then also, I'm usually very sensitive to noise, you know. And then on this beach, like every 10 meters, there was like somebody selling ice cream, and then they always had this melody for children, like, nye, 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 like but repeating over and over again. And in this hotel, there was like a cheesy saxophone version of "'Cause I'm your lady," and it was like repeating all the time. And then there were like also some electronical music, but like really too much, you know. And then yeah, also um, I thought like, yeah, but everybody else here seems to enjoy it, you know. I'm the only person who's annoyed by this. And then I had a little trick whenever I passed by this ice cream stand. I would just whistle the melody or sing it, you know, and then somehow I was rather amused about it, and it was not so annoying anymore. So yeah, really trying to find my way to, yeah, because it was clear that I would not have calmness there, which was at that moment my need somehow. But I think it's also okay to, yeah, to parent yourself in a way to say like, okay, hang on, yeah, we will fulfill your need. It's not possible at the moment, but whenever it will be possible, we will have that, you know. So then also what was funny that the next day I went back to a bigger city, and in the internet I had Wi-Fi again, and then I saw on WhatsApp somebody wrote me, "Oh, happy birthday." And then I noticed that I had totally forgotten which date it was, and I had forgotten my birthday. I mean, which doesn't really mean so much to me anyway, but it was kind of funny to have forgotten about time or yeah.
So I want to jump in again. What did you hear Lennart say, Lydia? Like two things that jumped out for me was that he had he described it as somewhat psychedelic experience when his thoughts were quiet. And the other thing was that he didn't do that. He didn't run after that and seek it, right? That it was something that he has developed, and it happened. It just happened that he was able to see that when he was in his thoughts, he was lost, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the great experience that he had, even the experience when he was bored, right? He allowed that to happen. It was okay. He didn't resist it. Right? He accepted that not all things have to be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes something that's not wonderful rather wonderful. Yeah. Did you hear that from him?
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. Also the noise thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's there, so how can I relate to it in a way that I can accept it or
Yes. Yeah.
be with it?
Yep. And you might ask, where did the idea come from for him to whistle when he went past the ice cream vendors? It's just something that popped into his head. He didn't
Yeah.
make it happen, did he?
No. That yeah, I can yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Your turn, Jen. What would you tell Lydia?
Hi, Lydia.
Hey, hello.
I'm also sort of quite new here, so I like the way you started, Lennart, with about your own experience and what had come in for you lately. And it was really interesting to hear your story in Indonesia and rubbish on the beach. One of the things I guess I've been doing lately or noticing is the ability to really notice myself when I'm getting caught up in thought, which I guess I have been able to do that for a while, but lately just been really bringing myself back to the present and finding that it's that being really present that actually I don't know if it creates it, but kind of that is the feeling of being in flow. And being in flow is that sense of I mean, I think it's kind of what we think we're looking for, what we are looking for. It's that when you're so the opposite of self-conscious, you know, your self-consciousness has all like evaporated and you are just living in the moment, whatever that moment happens to be. So it could be something that's, you know, not particularly pleasant, but it's the being totally immersed in the present that is that, right? And yeah, it's been lots of things coming up for me throughout the last week or couple of weeks, and especially it's sort of been kind of speeding up in lots of ways, I think, as a result of being part of this group, and some really interesting things. One of which was that I was finding myself in my head a lot describing to this group about whatever it was my experience was. And all the time I would be going, hang on a minute, it's not Monday morning yet. Wait until Monday morning and then explain whatever you wanted to explain, or Wednesday afternoon or whatever, you know. And then both times that the groups have actually come around in real time, my whatever I say or do is completely nowhere near what I imagined I was going to do, you know. And so all of that is just complete fantasy and kind of I mean, it can be kind of amusing or whatever, but it's kind of a waste, especially when you are not engaged in the present moment. And sometimes, as Lennart said, the present moment can be boring, or you can feel some boredom, but as well just not judging whatever it is. It has also been helping me a lot. I did just want to mention one thing, because I had been thinking about Ramiz this week and around some of the things that were said that we spoke of last week around the idea. I think, Vince, you said to Ramiz that the way to know that you are awake, let's say, whatever we call it, is whether you believe that there is a something or someone running the show, so to speak. Yeah. And in me, I don't feel sure that I can say one way or the other if there is or if there isn't. I feel like I could make arguments for that in either direction, but that's not the point. But what I am finding in experience is that the more I am operating as if there is nobody running the show, as if an entity called Jen does not actually exist, the better things are going. The better the feelings are, the less I'm getting hung up about what's happened or whatever. And it seems to be the linchpin is that presence thing, that just being in presence.
So Jen, I want to ask you. You said the words you used were when I bring myself back to the present, something a bit like that. Yeah. And what I want to do is I want to ask you, were they just words, or did you really mean that you brought yourself back to the present?
Yeah, I really mean I did. So
you did bring yourself back to the present. So tell me where the thought came from that said, I better bring myself back to the present.
It was more the recognition that I was thinking, that I was engaged.
Yes.
Like noticing that and then just letting it go and going, oh, I'm actually here.
Right. So where did the noticing come from? Did you do that or did it just happen?
I could probably make an argument for that happening either way. The fact is, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So if, let's say previous to that noticing, you had an intention to notice, then my question would be, where did the intention come from? Or did it just happen? I mean, we could say, okay, maybe it came from the result of a conversation that we had about doing that. But it came then and not before and not after. It came in that form.
Can I tell a funny little story? Because again, it was when I was thinking about Ramiz and this thing about whether we're in control of our own bodies and stuff. And I was lying on my bed and this moth came too close to my face and I sort of swatted it away, you know, and my thought was, you see, I swatted my hand to get rid of the moth. And then I thought, maybe it was the moth that made me swat my hand. And so since then, I've kind of been swapping everything around. That whatever my thoughts, I could tell you that, you know, I have worked very hard on my thinking for quite a number of years in order to affect my, you know, tendency to be depressed, whatever. But was that me that was making me work on my thoughts? Or was it something completely else?
Right.
So this is what I'm kind of like in this place at the moment where I don't feel like I can definitively say one way or the other, whether I'm, you know, whether I fully think that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something for you yet to discover. Yeah. What about you, Lydia? Do you feel like you control things?
No. You were talking to me now?
I was talking to Lydia, but okay, that's
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Oh. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I know that there is no one to control, but sometimes I want to have control.
Yeah, sure. Yep. So just this is an interesting one. Knowing that there is no one there to have control is just a thought. It means nothing. What does mean something is, do you feel like you have control?
Oh.
You don't
I
have to come
know.
up with the answer now. You can
Yeah.
consider that.
I know more and more that life is happening
Mm-hmm.
and that there is no one to control things.
But that's in your head again.
Oh.
So what is your experience of that?
Then I can only speak about this moment and that there is no control now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how does that feel?
Like freedom?
Ah, great. Excellent. Love that. Good answer. So you could have said, oh, I feel helpless. And then that would be something else altogether. The freedom is brilliant, beautiful. Love it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Mm,
It's like,
yeah, good stuff. Hello, Ramiz.
Hello, Vince. Hello, Rod.
hello.
Hello, Eric. Yeah. Jen, would you tell Ramiz again what you were saying about him? I thought that was interesting. Were you hearing Ramiz?
Yeah, I was listening.
Yeah. So what was your response to what Jen said about you?
I don't remember anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to point out what a word that Jen used and was realization. Like you were speaking, like you realize that there were thoughts. That's what I understood, right? You realize, oh, but I'm here. I'm not Monday. I'm not tomorrow. I'm here. And I think this word, it's really a good word. It's about everything we are awakening and all of non-duality. It's really a realization. It just you see something that it is so, and there is no need of preparation. Just hey, right, that's right, that's right. It's just and in the realization there is this obviousness, right? That, yeah, but it was always that way, you know. Of course, I was always here, and I'm always here. Of course, you know. And I really like this feeling I had when you shared this part. So thank you. Yeah.
That's great. When you said that, I just had a realization that when you are here, and of course, wherever you are here, but when you are here, there is no separation. There is no duality. Beautiful.
I've been having like an experience almost every time I woke up. I feel like this, like what I feel like being Ramiz is like something out there.
Yeah.
There's a kind of separation. Like I see it, and suddenly I'm it. It's like there's. And I'm not sure if this is a dream or imagination or
Yeah. I would call that reincarnation. David's shaking his head. Yeah.
Don't bring more confusion to this mess already.
Yeah. So do you, Ramiz, do you experience that from out there coming? Do you it come into you, or you go into it? Do you experience a marrying, a joining up of that as you wake up more?
I don't know, just a moment of separation, and then I'm awake and I'm Ramiz apparently.
Oh, you're Ramiz again then. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You see, the others have heard this before, Lydia, but you haven't. So I'll tell you, the way I see self is that it is all of those things you think about yourself. Right. So there's a whole book with many chapters in it about Lydia, all her likes and dislikes, her looks and her experiences, all her history, all of that's in a book, in a book in your head. And that doesn't make up the self, but your response to that does. So when you have a certain experience, you flip to that particular chapter in the book about how Lydia reacts, and you do it again. You react again to the way that the book, the script says that you do it. And that reaction is what makes up the self. And the way I see it, and David doesn't, he shakes his head when I say this, the way I see it is that each morning when we wake up, what we do is we re-engage with that book, that idea of who we are. And that's what I call reincarnation. That's what I reckon the Buddha really meant about reincarnation. Nothing about future lifetimes. It's and so when you wake up, that happens differently. You know, but it means that you don't put on the old clothes every time. You know, so what we're doing when we're waking up is we're just getting a new wardrobe, a different wardrobe, a better one.
And how is David thinking about it?
Yeah. Oh, tell us, David.
But again, I didn't really understand what like in the morning, what happened in the morning.
As you wake up, as you come back into consciousness from unconsciousness, being asleep, that in that semi-conscious state, right, you adopt the ideas you have about yourself again. So you're basically, you're somewhat, not completely, but somewhat free of them when you're asleep. Maybe in deep sleep you're completely free, maybe, I don't know. But as you wake up, you kind of, you metaphorically put on the clothes.
Makeup.
Yes, the makeup. Yes, exactly. The makeup of what
You remember who you are.
Yeah. You get it. You get
No,
what I meant.
I agree with everything Vince says. It's just I just like to frame it differently. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I confuse people. I confuse myself
No,
sometimes.
I'm not saying you're confused.
Yeah.
It was a joke. I thought that you were joking using the term reincarnation, but now I understand that you use it like, okay. No, but it's fine. I agree with everything. I like to frame things differently. That's all.
And that's good. That's
Because
a good balance for me. Yeah.
because to me, entertain linear time, it's confusing at some point.
Yeah.
You know, like you weren't conscious, suddenly there is a thought and you identify with it, and then now you are something else. But thinking in that way, or approaching your experience in this linear way, it kind of to me it's good. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's a
Yeah.
valuable way to approach it, but at the same time it can engage this kind of, so there is a self that there is where that has no thoughts, therefore I can seek it, and I will get rid of my thoughts and my sensation, my body, so I can be this no self in sleeping that is very happy, right? So it kind of trigger a little bit this kind of
Yeah.
of seeking energy. That's
Yeah.
why I prefer trying to talk and to speak and to think in a way that put everything in an instantaneous perspective, like right here, constantly.
Mm.
So when I woke up in the when I woke up in the morning, I woke up in the morning is a thought appearing right here,
Mm.
and like the Big Bang, it's always here.
Yep.
Like every. I don't like, but okay. I will share what one of my experience. But I saw at one point, like all my experience collapse, right? Like in some kind of unknowing light completely, right? And at some point in this unthinkable, unlimited, no space light, there was like a word appear, right? And the one single word, it was the whole Big Bang come, you know? Like for any word to exist, like the word chair, the word cellular phone, anything, to any concept to appear, it has to have the whole package behind. You have to get time, you have to have space, you have to have the earth, and you have to have someone, and you have to have others, and you have to have father, mother, and you have to have emotion. Everything, it's like in your face instantly. So it's instantaneously there. But in the morning, it seems to be very gentle, but it's just the way experience can appear. Maybe I am more confusing now than you are.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you understood, Lydia?
That's only in this moment, I think so, because otherwise everything is appearing like how to say that?
Your smile said it. You don't have to find the word. I love
Yeah.
the look
You
on your
think
face
about something and everything appears around it, the Big Bang, blah, blah, everything on the.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, like, when you go to sleep, it's very interesting too, because everything, not everything, but thought disappear, and what you think is your life disappear also, and then there is dreaming. And it's a whole new dimension, a whole new universe which appear, which have different rules, different patterns, and then there is seemingly nothing, and after there is something again. But it's the again and something, and it's here, like you said, everything is here.
We're covering a lot of ground here. There's a lot of stuff happening really, really fast. Yeah. One of the things that David alluded to there that is a pet soapbox of mine is that no matter what you say, everything is involved in it. No matter what you experience, everything is involved in it. So for things to be the way they are now, everything that has ever been, ever, since the beginning of time, if that exists, since the beginning of existence, if that's a thing, everything had to be exactly the way it is. Everything had to happen exactly the way it did happen for this to be the way it is now. If your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather had a stomachache at the moment he was going to make love to his wife, you wouldn't exist. Anything. If a butterfly in the Amazon didn't flap his wing at that moment, things would be different now. So for me, this was a big realization. This was a portal into recognizing how nothing is separate. Everything is the one thing. Everything. But we're jumping ahead again. But it's a
Yeah,
No,
it's
Vince, I think
wars
I think
happening, even everything. Yeah.
I don't think that. I think sometimes with the vision of feathers, we are slowing down people. I mean, it's. I don't think it's that ungraspable.
Say that last word again. You don't think it's
Yeah,
that?
I didn't understand either.
I don't think that what I'm saying is ungraspable or fast. I just think it's factual. It's a fact,
Yes.
and I don't think we need to cut it in parts and to make it stages. Just look and see. And when you look and you see that it's true, well, things happen.
Hmm.
Experience is really a whole. And after there is scientists who explain this in another way of explaining this, but you think with your whole body. And because body is only sensation, you thinking and sensation are one thing.
Say that again. Everything's sensation, and then you think it's one thing.
Oh, I think David is jumping ahead a little bit there. That's true, but it's at this stage. I think we need to just recognize how thinking can interfere, even though it's yeah. Anyway, that's my thought. I think you're just not jumping ahead a little bit too much, David.
Okay.
No, it's okay, but I didn't understand what you were saying. So can you say it again?
I was saying that the thinking often when we talk about direct experience, we said there is thinking, sensing, and perceiving, right? Like there is 3 different categories. But if you look very carefully, they are interconnected, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they are not interconnected. They are one
One thing.
whole. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like
happening
you
in the
said before,
same.
remember, like you said before, Lydia, you say, but when I think there is this kind of twist happening, I know how to say, right? Yeah, because everything appears as a whole. So if I'm convinced that you maybe I'm ahead, but at the same time, if you start to approach your experience with that way of thinking and believing, it's my to me it was really a change, because suddenly like, oh yeah, it's nothing is hiding anything. So suddenly thinking is not a problem, and when it's not a problem, there is other door opening for you, and the whole system can go kind of relax also.
Mm.
I want to say something about the relationship between like direct experience and interpretation, because w- sometimes I'm hearing that the interpretation is not the problem, that we can have an interpretation about the experience, but that they don't belong to someone. But the someone that I'm referring to is also a sensation that it has an interpretation. So it's the same mechanism is applied to the sense of self as the experience, because it's all experience. This I call a self, this I call not a self. It's the same. If I can see this without the label, I can see this without the label. It's like it has the same mechanism, I feel. But the issue with the labeling mechanism, that it is not just like I'm looking at the phone, I'm saying to myself, this is a phone, this is a phone, this is a phone. It's almost like it's a filter. It's like I can't make myself not seeing you as separate from me, like you. It's not like I can just switch the thinking or apply different label or whatever. And it doesn't seem like in my power to do this. It just, this is what it seems to me.
Right.
I don't know if there is a question there.
Yeah.
That's great, but what I understand is like everything seems to be one way, but what is in essential is what it is here. So experience seems to be in a certain way. But to me, what really shifts is to inquire and explore if it is really that way. And often you find that it is not.
My reaction to what you said, Ramiz, is that isn't it really good that you are able to observe what's going on, that you can observe what your thoughts are doing, you can observe this from the outside rather than from the inside. You're not lost in that. You're actually seeing those things and you're curious about them. And I think that's a really good place of discovery to be. See, it's not a case of there being a right or wrong. It always comes back to what do you feel about it? Right? And so what you're feeling about it is maybe, as I interpret it, some confusion. But you're seeing that that exists. And that's brilliant. That's really good. That's a great place to be, because that curiosity will lead you into more discovery. What I want you to see is where you get sucked into believing your thoughts, where you say, that's correct. See, there's only experience. And what I wanted to tell Lydia a moment ago from something that David said was that, and it doesn't contradict what he said either, that there is the fact that you have a thought, and then there is the content of the thought, what it's about. Now you can't separate them, but you can see them as separate. You can see them as different. So what I want to encourage, what I want to happen, not that you're going to do it because you don't have control, but as a result of this conversation, maybe things will happen that you will be able to see that you have had a thought without getting lost in the content of the thought.
Yeah, I heard Vanille talking about that with the post-its. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Very good. It's the other image, like it's very good, Vince. But the image, it's also like a screen. If you turn on your TV and there is an apple on the screen, right? There is two ways to describe and to approach this. You can say, I'm seeing an apple, or I'm seeing a screen. And it's a little bit the same with thoughts. The thought is kind of the screen, and the apple is what the screen is about.
Yeah.
So of course both appear at the same time, but there is no apple. There is a screen. And thoughts are not about anything. Just like the screen is not about an apple, a movie, or people. It's just light. I think this is very good. It's about.
Yeah. You can talk about, oh, the apple is good and it's tasty, and or it's a computer, or you can make everything out of it. Oh,
Yeah.
So it's just an apple there on the screen.
I think that there is something very key in what Vince said, because, for example, everyone can sense when you are in thinking, in hearing, in smelling, or in sensing, right? So you can differentiate between the activity of thinking and sensation. So thinking, there is a flavor to it, to this activity. There is something, it's when that make it possible to differentiate. But what it is about is not real.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
There's an audio like illusion thing where there's an audio saying something, but you can't really distinguish what it's saying, and there's a subtitle, and you hear it as the subtitle, and you change the subtitle, and you hear it as the different subtitle, and it fucks with your mind. It's like, what I'm hearing, it's the same sound, but you literally hear it differently with the different subtitle. And it doesn't just you interpret it, the sound, you actually hear it as the subtitle. And that's what I'm trying to point to. Like I can't make myself to see, to override what the mind make an assumption about. And I remember Paul Hederman talks about a lot seeing before, seeing the mechanism from before. And I have no idea what that means.
So that's a brilliant example, that audio illusion there. So can you can you recognize, well, I mean, I guess we have to approach this intellectually, but can you intellectually understand that it's a trick of the brain to say that you're hearing what the subtitles tell you? So what you're hearing, literally what you're hearing, is incomprehensible. It's the brain that turns that incomprehensible sound into something that that gives it meaning, whatever the subtitles say. So you're not, it appears to you like you're actually hearing what the subtitles say, but yet you know that what you're hearing is just sound. It's the same as when you sit in the audience and a magician saws a woman in half. Your senses tell you that a woman is getting sawn in half, but your head says, no, it's not. You know, you don't, otherwise you would call the police, wouldn't you? You know, or the ambulance. But you don't do that because you know it's an illusion. Now, in the case of the sound, you know that the illusion is that you're hearing what the subtitles say, but your head tells you, no, you're not. You're hearing the same thing, which is incomprehensible. It's not anything. But the subtitles make it so.
So where is the trick? In the subtitles or in the hearing? Or
No, it's in your brain. And see, it's even more complex than that when you think about it, because what you're seeing is just light. So your brain is first making sense of the light and applying your experience to make that light into words that you read, and your brain is then taking that and telling your ears that that's what it's hearing. Clever, incredibly clever. So how can you believe anything? You do this with everything all day, every day. You think you're hearing something, and that's just what your brain's telling you. You think you're seeing something, it's just what your brain's telling you. But guess what? It's the only thing that's actual, your experience. It's not true. It's not reality. It's just your experience. And there's nothing other than that. That's all there is that is actual. Your experiencing, which is your interpretation of what's coming in through your senses. And your interpretation is shaped by your perception, which is shaped by your experience in life. And it's unique to you. Nobody else has exactly that. It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah. Sometimes I think like the world is inside of you. So we have to be the projector of everything we see. So there is no real world outside. We are creating the world and the people in it. And it's totally not real. It's totally just illusion there. And it seems like you are reacting to it as if it's totally real. It's so crazy. And still we are doing this. It's like
Lydia,
sometimes like, what's going on?
Lydia, I think you've hit the nail on the head. That is actually the way it is. I think if you get into quantum physics, you get confirmation. That's exactly the way it is. That's the way it happens. What's out there is a mystery. Our experience is what we project onto that mystery.
May I step in? Because yeah, I always hear like that's the way it is. And now I don't want to go into philosophy, but I recently rediscovered a pre-Socratic philosopher, which is not so well known. His name is Gorgias. And there's only one fragment, and he said, nothing exists, and if something existed, it could not be known, and if it could be known, it could not be communicated. And it means that even existence, or to exist or to be, it's a human concept, which outside of human thinking is not relevant. I mean, you know, sometimes when I overthink, my trick is that I watch documentaries about the universe, and then I kind of get aware of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the
Puts it into
universe doesn't really
context.
give a shit about existence or this kind of concepts. But then even the hello, are you hearing me? Because I have like a very bad connection.
Oh, I hear you okay.
Yeah, I mean, even when I say existence is just a human concept, and this is a concept as well, you know. So in the end, I think there is no way out. I mean, this is just like our human experience, because we have a brain, we have eyes, we have ears, and but I mean, for me, when it can be disturbing to think that even existence is just a human concept. But on the other hand, I find it quite freeing as well, because it tells me, I mean, there are like more than 2000 years about philosophy, what it means to be, you know, what is existence, what is being. And there are like so many opinions, and you never even understand what that is supposed to mean.
Mm.
Is it necessary to make the assumption that the foot will meet the ground every step to take the step?
Well, what makes you think the feet hit the ground rather than the ground hits the feet?
Whatever it's what, like they meet.
That's another interesting one, isn't it? That's a really interesting one. We do make that assumption, but it's not conscious, is it? We don't think about it. It's something happens at another level, right? If you've ever taken a step and it's a step down, but you don't realize it's a step down, and you miss it, and all of a sudden it's a real shock to the system, because you've expected your foot to hit the ground and it's actually an inch lower than that, and it's almost like you're going to trip over. You know, that tells you that there is an assumption that the ground is always at the right place for you. If you know there's
Or
a
that
step there, then of course you don't get surprised by it. But that's another story. That's a tricky one, that one, yeah.
But I think it's also happening when you're driving a car. There is some then you sit in the car and you see yourself driving, but sometimes it's like the trees or something are passing by and you are
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
still or something. It's also
yeah.
something like
Yeah. There's a great experience if you've ever had it. You're sitting at the traffic lights in two lanes of cars, and you're waiting for the lights to change, and you may be daydreaming a little bit, and the car beside you starts to move forward, and all of a sudden you get
yes.
a feeling like you're going backwards.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
it's a
strange
shock.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really strange when it does that, or a train passing by, and it's also happening
Mm,
sometimes. Yeah, it's like, oh, what's happening?
yeah,
It's still, and then it gives the feeling as if it's
yeah.
moving.
So a moment ago, I mean, obviously Ramiz lives near a railway line, and a train went by with its horn going, right? And did I almost see a train when I heard that sound? It was very real. It was a train. It wasn't just a sound. It was a train on a track going near his house. It's amazing.
And I couldn't make a train out of it because I don't know it.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a big diesel train, I thought, and it was probably yellow.
And for me, it was a
I
noise.
think
Like,
that
what is that?
the mind, the nature of the mind is to arrive at conclusions. So if you, what is interesting, if you look at fractal, you know the fractal is those mathematical things that you can always zoom and it's infinite. You know, you always zoom, and there is no end. But the mind kind of builds. Okay, this is a form. And that's okay. Oh no, this is another one. It just start to building forms. You know, constantly. But the fractal, it's always, there is no
Yes.
form specific. The mind built to it. But this is like you can experience it. But in everyday life, the other day I was doing stretching, and with sensation, the mind is so addicted to this. Like if you raise your arm, the mind will go strictly, I want to arrive at the end. You know, whatever movement you do, the mind wants to arrive at the end of the movement constantly. It needs that. It's seeking the end of the movement, the putting in the box, the arriving, the conclusion. And often in these meetings, there is this, you know, okay, so where I am, so now what? So what's happening now? I am I'm crossing, I'm awake, nobody knows. It's it's just this, and that's it, you know. And but sometimes it's so unbearable, like it can become a feeling in the gut, you know, like no, I cannot believe that, you know. It has to be more, you know. I have to make something. But Ramiz, you are going too fast for me.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm always
interesting.
wondering about? Like, there is no ego, there is only thought. And then there's been said, like, the ego wants to be there. It does everything to stay in place. It wants to be there and it comes back because it wants to be there. What? It's only a thought. How can something that is a thought wants to be there? What exactly is it that it doesn't want to die? So it has to be a sensation, no?
They're involved. So
Yeah.
what we have is a conditioned mind, right? We have learned to react to
Mm-hmm.
what we know, right? So all right. So yeah. The brain is a predictive organ. So the brain by nature will take the smallest amount of information that it is required for it to predict what's going to happen. And that's the nature of the brain. Oh, bye, David. Yeah. And so then we have habit. And what habit is it's a labor-saving device. Right? So if you had to think about how to move your fingers to do up the buttons on your shirt, it would take you forever to do up your shirt, and so what we do is we have habit, and habit means that you can do up the buttons on your shirt without even thinking about it.
Automatically, yeah.
Yeah, automatically, yeah, exactly. And that's what ego. It's a shitty word, ego, because everybody has a different idea about it. We talk about it like it's a thing, but it's not a thing. It's a behavior. It's your response to that story. Now that story of Lydia, that came into existence because you were trained, you were conditioned to do that. Right from the very beginning, your mother would say, Lydia, your name is Lydia. And when you smiled, she said, good girl, you know. And so you were trained to respond to the name Lydia. Well, you also learned that when you felt uncomfortable, you learned ways to cope with that discomfort, right? When you were a baby and you were hungry, you learned that if you cried, you would get fed.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the development, if you like, of the ego, and it's not so much the ego back in those days, but it becomes the ego when you learned that the way to handle somebody insulting you, for example, that you would do something. You would either fight back, or you would run away, or you would, whatever you did, right? You were defending yourself. Now you might be defending yourself physically, but a lot of that was you're defending yourself psychologically, right? You were defending your idea of yourself. And that's really what we talk about when we talk about the ego. But some people will say, oh, ego is when you get too full of yourself, right? So in other words, it's an extreme situation. But when, in this case, we talk about ego like anything that is got to do with defense, anything that's got to do with defending yourself, yeah? But on the other hand, if somebody gives you a compliment and you get a bit of a swelled head, that's also seen as the ego. So there's not so much defense there, but rather a confirmation that you are okay. That is really the idea of you is okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we're not about killing the ego. The ego is what enables you to go to the shops and buy groceries. Right? But what we are about is teaching it how to be more appropriate. Right. So it does things that because a lot of what the ego does, if you like, that mental habits you've got, is it causes suffering because of inappropriate.
Yeah. Because you keep the habits in place that you learned when you were a little baby or something, and then still happening, and that's not convenient in this situation. Yeah.
So one of the things that I would like you to do, and it's something that I've found to be really useful when I'm guiding people, is I want you to appreciate that moment, that really tiny moment when you recognize that you were lost in thought. Right? Now, it's not about not being lost in thought. It's about the moment that you recognize that you were lost in thought. And that moment of recognition, I want you to celebrate that moment. Celebrate the recognition, right? So you might get lost in thought, and it might be an hour later or a day later, doesn't matter when, that you realize, oh yeah, I was lost in thought. That moment that you go, oh yeah, I was lost, recognize that the moment you recognize it is what I want you to celebrate. And how I want you to celebrate it is by laughing. I want you to laugh. Fake a laugh, doesn't matter. Laugh. Right? That's a celebration of that moment of recognition. I want to put recognition in capital letters, and I want it underlined. Put an exclamation mark at the end of it. Right? That recognition. Right? Because what that does is that will become, it'll arrive quicker and quicker, more frequently and sooner.
I can sometimes feel myself going into it, like it's a shift in then I'm like it's a space like where I'm safe or something, or I think it's protection mechanism there, like, and I can feel myself move into it.
Yeah, great. Yes. Yeah, well, that's the thing, and you'll get to and the moment you recognize that that's what's happening, it changes. It dissolves. You know, you don't have to do it. It just happens because you've stepped outside of it and you're observing it.
Yeah, yeah, of course, when I feel myself, when then I see it and then it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
A
Yeah.
good one, yeah.
Yeah. I cannot catch it always, but sometimes, yeah.
You know, yeah, you almost always will catch it, but sometimes it will be a lot later.
Okay,
Sometimes
okay,
you
yeah.
won't realize that you've caught it because we haven't made this moment special, and that's what I want to do, make this moment special when you recognize it.
Okay.
Right? And so what will happen as you get better and better at doing that, and it won't take long, it'll only take a couple of weeks before you'll be really good at it. And what will happen is that you'll train your brain to do things differently. So you will move from left brain to right brain. And
Okay.
you will develop new pathways in the brain as a result of that. See, part of the trick is the laughing. What happens when you laugh is that you take
Break
yourself,
the
and you get different hormones in the body. You get feel-good hormones instead of stress hormones. If you're lost in a story, you've probably got stress hormones. And when you laugh, you swamp those with good feeling hormones and it changes. So it's a reward. It's a reward for the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about, I was reading about Dr. Sarno. So he says like pain, most pain is like a mild oxygen problem in the muscles. So you made a pathway of thinking about something in the body. Like, oh, it's pain. So you make a nerve pathway. And so you always think about pain. And when you make another pathway, it's difficult to explain. When you
Yeah, I
make
get it. I
another
get it.
pathway,
Yeah.
you dissolve this one, and you say to yourself all the time, "But there is no pain. It's nothing happening. The body is okay." Things like that, and then pain dissolves because you are not going into that pathway
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm reading a lot of stuff about that, so
Yeah, I was thinking about this ego thing. I think when you are a child, for example, you are always told that you have to become something. Like, what do you want to become? And then
yes.
also in this educational system, you learn to do that. You learn that you have to do this or that in order to, yeah. And then there's always expectation anyway. And I think this creates also self images. I think I had like a lot of work to do to understand what were my self images. And then, for example, it could also be something very trivial, like, no, I don't want to be a person who is bored and watches YouTube videos or something like that. And then I think another story is like, I want my life to be like this, or my life is shitty, or something like that. And then, anyway, what does this mean, my life? I mean, you can just, you can only see this moment, but everything else is like a story about, I mean, life is not like a linear story that you could tell, and you know what I mean. So I'm always like alarmed when I listen to people saying like, my life is, or something like that, or I want my life to be like that, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's time for me to go and cook tea.
Okay.
It's been good. Yes, I'm so glad you're here, Lydia. I feel really good about you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here too. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah. So have I got you on a notification list?
Yes.
You have, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only about the time. Sometimes I'm on pension from today. Today's my official pension date, but I'm still working like they do flexi job. I don't know if you know what that is. You can work after pension still whenever you like and earn some money, you know, and sometimes I'm working, so
Mm.
I
Okay.
have to look which time because Australia is totally, it's
Yeah,
like 8 hours or something different.
yeah, it's a bit of a trick finding a time that suits people all over the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But we've filled your head with lots of stuff, so there's a lot of integration going to happen for you until we see you again, and I hope we do. That'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, I will look at the recording again.
Yeah.
The first thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. I'll see you
Thank
all.
you so much. Thank you. See you next time.
Yeah.
Have a nice
Bye
week.
bye.